It's no picnic out there. Producing energy these days is an act of courage. It's complicated, it's expensive, it's dangerous. Remote locations, unfamiliar territory, cultural nuances, political turmoil, unexpected obstacles you could never anticipate abound. This is risky business, where anything and everything can shut your project down in the blink of an eye. Who do you trust to help tackle your challenges, face your fears, respect your budget, and protect the lives of your people above all? Us? You better believe it. When the challenge is daunting, the timing is critical, and nothing short of operational excellence will do, Bristow is there. Safely, promptly, reliably, attending to the business at hand so that you can achieve your goals and move on. Our Target Zero programs prove it. Our Target Zero mentality makes it possible. The most reassuring sound in the world is Bristow on the job. Bristow delivers confidence in flight worldwide.
I hope that got you pumped up. Got me pumped up. My name is Brian Smith. I'm a spatial transformer, and we'll turn into rasters if it doesn't go well. So I want to thank Esri and thank all of you for being here today. With me is Sophy Liu. We're going to have a little conversation. Sophie's one of our partners. We did some pretty entertaining things, fun things as we went through the last year. And what we wanted to do is let Sophy get started here, explain a little bit about who Bristow is and what they do, how they use GIS, and then we'll tell you how we hit a curveball out of the park.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. And thanks very much for Esri to give us this opportunity to present. So a little bit about Bristow. You guys saw the video. We are a more than 70-year-old company. We operate globally across all the 5 continents. We have more than 300 aircraft flying around the world. And we are the world leader helicopter operator. Could you go back to the last one? No, the last one, please. Yes. So our main business, as you saw, we're in oil and gas industry. We are the transporter for crews going to the offshore drilling platforms. And also, we actually, in addition to helicopters, we also have fixed wings on the bottom. You saw that. We have 2 local airliners in UK and in Australia. And those are local short distance flights and mainly to get the crew to the place where we have the major base for the offshore transportation. And our second industry sector is search and rescue. And actually, Bristow had the contract for the UK Coastal Guard search and rescue. And we are flying around the whole coastal around UK, taking over the the original Royal Coast Guard role. And in addition to that, we also fly our more like personal clients, and that's the Blade partnership in the New York City. We fly from the city center to the Hamptons. And that's for the families, and of course,
it's
if
quite
you have the money,
yeah. It's only like $765 a seat. I mean,
yeah, not too bad.
It's reasonable.
40 minutes.
Save you all that agony. And a dollar to whoever can name the movie that Bristow Helicopters were featured in.
Yes.
Has to be the guy that talks about autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry? 2 weeks notice? Really? Did you know that? I didn't know that. We'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, book online. All right, and of course, in the new era, we're also exploring other technology, the unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, the drones. We're into that business as well. We have a partnership in that. And we also have a Bristow Academy that trained helicopter pilots. So it's a whole range of different services, and we have a whole range of different client community as well. As many of the companies in the aviation industry, safety is our core value. So we have the target zero you saw on the video. Target zero is 0 accident, 0 downtime, and 0 complaints. Again, safety always the first, and then we also want to strive to achieve the efficiency as well as superior customer service.
So Sophie, you talked a little bit about this. Couple images up here are pretty interesting. That's your operations center.
Sure.
And then you also have a picture of what the pilots see in the helicopters.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the culture at Bristow, the use of mapping and GIS, and just how important it is in achieving target zero.
Sure. Yeah, so GIS, I saw in this whole convention, all the signs. It's signs about where, right? So when you're flying in the sky, literally in the middle of nowhere, you definitely want to know where you are. And not only the pilots want to know where you are, but also you want the ground, the control center, know exactly where you are. And so in our case, it's really taking GIS to a new level. It's not just your traditional XY grade. To me, it's really a 5D GIS, right? You have latitude and longitude, and then in addition, you also have altitude and where you're heading and at any given time. So that's 5 different dimensions, and that's how we use the GIS platform here.
Excellent.
All right?
And go ahead.
Yes, and so, just to expand a little bit on this image, on the right, that's one of the aviation boxes on the dashboard that pilots control. And in that, before they take off, usually they will just go and put in, this is where I am, and this is where I'm heading, this is the time that we're going to depart. And that information will go through satellite and go to the control center, right? Get presented on the GIS system. Once the aircraft takes off, we're going to have the information, the polling, satellite communication to this avionics box. And the information gets transformed and then presented on the system that we use. And that's the image on the left is our operations center. We have one global flight following ops center. In there, it's 24/7 manned, and we have operators, dedicated operators. We have the off-duty pilots. We have the pilots in training. They're sitting over there looking at the monitors and looking at the map projected on the wall and constantly monitoring the flights and communicating with the pilots that are in the sky.
So one of the important things to note about the helicopters is the helicopters actually have 5 different satellite units in it. And the system that we have in cooperation with Bristow has to understand which one's working and which one's not working and make sure that we can continually get updates from all 5 of those. So there's these automatic failovers just to make sure that it's there. And the next slide will show you a little bit of detail of what the operators see, but I have to tell you that that's a job that I would never, ever, ever want. Bristow has about 24 different types of alerts. One of the alerts is what they call rapid descent. Y'all are just gonna stare at me like that? A helicopter rapidly descending. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Would you not have a heart attack? Because I would. And
There's an even worse one.
is there?
In air, no pulling. So meaning the aircraft is supposedly to be in air and there's no pulling signal. So where is it?
Where is it? Where is it? So this is what the operators see, right, Sophie? This is the new system that we just recently deployed.
Right.
We went into production in June.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And so it's three screens. Why don't you explain those real quick, and then we'll dive into a little bit of the technology of them.
Sure. So this is what the operators see in front of them in the Global Flight Following Center. The system, we name it eFlight GT, which stands for Excellence in Flight Global Tracking. And basically, in front of them, they not only see the map, but they also have these control panels. On the far left, that's a flight stream. So basically, it gives you at a glance all these aircraft, where they're at. Are they in air? Are they base? Are they just landed to the offshore destination? And then in the middle is when you look at a particular flight, you will see all the details, right? It gives you a little bit more metadata on the flight, with what time is supposedly arrive, and how many people are on board, and who are flying this for. And then underneath, you will see the messages that's communicating text message through satellite with the pilot in the cockpit. And then if there's any alert, and if there's any history, activity history of this particular airplane, right, where it's heading and where it was at the last minute. And on the right, of course, you see it on the map. And on the map, that circle in the middle, that's the aircraft that we're focusing on. And it, again, displays all the information. You have the typical GIS tools over there. And you see these pipes. Those are actually geofences. So we have flight plan, right? Before the aircraft departs, we know where it goes to. And then with that, we draw a pipe, basically, in the sky. And if the aircraft deviates from that pipe, that geofence immediately throws an alert in the system, and then the operator will act on it, contact the local base, and contact the pilot in the cockpit.
So what's interesting about this is that the map you see is actually an ArcGIS Online web map with essentially a custom-built template or business function around it for Bristow. This system uses Azure Active Directory. One of the things, it's completely cloud-based, right, Sophie? I mean, completely cloud-based. So we use Active Directory in Azure. And we use ArcGIS Online for identity. And we also use it for a number of other reasons, which we're going to talk about here with this explosive volcano, meaning disruption. So we did disrupt your business when we came to you with this new concept, didn't we? Let's kind of talk a little bit about what that meant to you guys, not only at the time that I threw it on you, but now, a year later, when we have it implemented, what are you kind of seeing, and what are you seeing as advantages to what we did?
Right. So initially, we implemented a system. We started working together about 3 years ago, right? And we implemented a system. We were quite happy with the functionality, so we thought we were stabilizing. And then Brian came to me and said, well, we are re-architecting the whole product, and now we're going to rewrite it, and you can get to a new platform. So I was like, what's the benefit for us? Yeah, because again, this is 24/7 rewriting, and there are a lot of complex business logic that's encoded in the program. So he said, well, you can get rid of Silverlight. That's really a benefit, because Silverlight as an obsolete technology is not really supported by many browsers anymore. So we are experiencing a lot of problem already with that. The client system especially, just trying to support it is becoming a task. So we're like, okay, so then just port it over to the new platform, exact same functionality, and get rid of Silverlight. And that was the initial goal, but then as we explore it more, now we see the point of this new product. It's incorporating ArcGIS Online. So as an IT person, I have to talk a little bit about technology. In Bristow, we fully embrace the cloud technology. So as Brian said, our Active Directory is hosted in Microsoft's Azure cloud. And in this new system, the whole user management is in the ArcGIS Online cloud. And the information and rendering, the whole engine, is hosted in GeoDecisions cloud, which is in Amazon. So it's cross 3 layers of cloud information. First, the user gets authenticated, and then the information, the user raw information gets passed to the back end, and GeoDecisions engine does the data rendering, and that information gets passed back to ArcGIS Online and gets rendered as a web application. So through this whole new stack of architecture, from technology perspective, we achieved a new era as well. They were fully, cloud-based.
Yeah, so the previous system, our legacy system, one of the things that Bristow does is they give their executives and some of their customers access to see where their employees are and basically kind of operations on a daily basis. The previous system, our legacy system, they had to come into that legacy system. Okay, but by kind of taking this attitude or this new strategy, what we've actually enabled Bristow to do and their flight folks is actually pull these feature services out. And because we're using ArcGIS Online identity, we can group together different folks and then not necessarily push them into this screen, right? Because this screen's designed for an operator. So we're now giving them the ability to look at things through maybe a web app that's designed directly in ArcGIS Online or operations dashboard. It's been quite the advantage, in my opinion.
Right.
We're just now getting to the point where they're able to really start taking this on. One of the other important things, and any of you that are in aviation, is that Bristow has required us, well, Bristow has through the FAA, to actually store 7 years of data for them to access directly out of this. So there's this really cool amount of data that's being stored. And we've done some initial analysis towards it, looking at, again, for me, scary things like, rapid descents and where these things take place, why they're taking places in certain areas. And that's one of the things we want to start looking at here, maybe towards the end of this year, early next year, right? Sophie, is how can we really use that data?
Right. So again, as we now embrace the new platform, we realize that there are a lot more things that are in our control. So we don't need to go to GeoDecisions for code changes. Now with ArcGIS Online, we have a lot more resources, and our business group, business power users, can create a customized map easily by themselves. They can have all these different layers by leveraging the free Esri resources or our own resources, and basically just do anything they want and turn around and introduce the new map to the target users. So that's making IT free. Remove ourselves from dealing with all those custom map coding. And then the other thing is for us now realizing that with the ops dashboard functionality that's in beta right now in ArcGIS Online, we can do a lot more data analysis and data integration. And that's definitely our next stage. We have a lot of information from our ERP system and from our maintenance program and from all the enterprise different data pools that we can easily marry this flight data and get a lot more business insight and business intelligence. And that's something that we never really had before. And again, this kind of data analysis can be in the hands of the people who understand exactly how we want to look at this data, other than an IT programmer.
Yeah.
And that is something that we can definitely in the future fully and more
embrace.
thoroughly
embrace that, and then also just concentrate on the business function like we had. Right. By continually just making your business a lot easier to more efficient. You know, we don't have to worry about the mapping component, et cetera. Let James do that. James is one of Sophie's folks that runs that crazy ops center. He's a really good man, but I would have a heart attack every 5. But anyway, we went through that. What else, Sophie, do you think, from a standpoint, tell these folks, if there was something that, if there's a word of advice for everybody moving down this path, what do you think it would be?
I think, you know, from, again, business perspective and technology perspective. Business perspective, definitely, I think, you know, the more we embrace the ArcGIS Online, the more power we'll give the business to look at this data in the way they want to look at it, right? From technology perspective, I think with these leveraging these platforms, now we have a more reliable system, right? So we use this 24/7. We need to know our aircraft every minute. And this is not just our operation, our client also look at it. The UK Coastal Guard, they constantly are on the system looking at the aircraft, where they're at, who they're rescuing, what mission they're on, right? So from that perspective, that reliability, that system persistency is very important. And then, of course, now with the new platform, the mobile capability, and all the new ways and exposure to more audiences to look at the data is definitely a plus.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Helen stood up, so that means we're about at our end. She's like, get off the stage.
Yay.
Thank you. I mean, I think this is an absolutely amazing story. You know, one of the things we were discussing yesterday is, how many of you have flown in a helicopter before? Well, one of the things you'll find that everybody does before they get in a helicopter is cross themselves. And there are no atheists in helicopters. And you know, it's a very serious point. One of my good friends from high school, helicopter pilot in the UK, and absolutely dependent upon these systems. And recently, a helicopter crashed in Ireland because they flying in horrendous conditions, you know, almost total whiteout. Navigation charts need to be highly accurate because they're flying very low in incredible conditions. And, you know, the fact that Sophie and her team and the company can do this is a real credit to them. I'm so proud that ArcGIS Online can be part of it, and the work and the partnership of GeoDecisions. So, you know, this is a life-saving, life-critical thing. So thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.